All right, today while I'm not here, y'all going to review what we learned last week. And before I sent you with the stations, I wanted you to be reviewed of these examples. So here's some examples. The first one is to solve by inspection. Remember, your solutions are the same thing as your x-intercepts. So I go to the graph and I locate my x-intercepts, which are always found on the x-axis. So those would be my x-intercepts. So I could say x1 equals -2 and x2 equals 1. So my solutions to this quadratic would be -2 and 1. The next type of ways I want you to determine the solutions of the function in intercept form algebraically. And I know this is in intercept form because it has two sets of parentheses. And I want you to use your algebra skills to solve this. So we want to use a zero property, which says that if either one of these factors equals 0, when you multiply you'll get 0. So let's set each factor equal to 0. So I would say 2x plus 5 equals 0. And I would need to solve that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate my positive 5 by placing -5 on both sides of the equation. That way the 5's eliminate on the left side, and 0 minus 5 is -5. Make sure you bring down your 2x. So now it reads 2x equals -5. So if I want to solve it now, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So the 2's cancel on the left, and x equals -5 over 2. So that would be my first solution, -5 over 2. Alright, then you want to find your second solution. So in order to do that, you're going to place the second factor equal to 0. So I would say 3x minus 4 equals 0. And I want to start by eliminating the -4. So if I eliminate the -4, I'm going to put positive 4 on both sides. That way the 4's eliminate on the left. So that gives me 3x equals 0 plus 4 is 4. And then I want to divide both sides by 3. So if I divide both sides by 3, the 3's cancel on the left. That gives me x equals 4/3. So my second solution is 4/3. So if I graph this, I would know that one x-intercept would be -5/2 and the other x-intercept would be 4/3. We also want to be able to find our solutions of the function algebraically when it's in vertex form. So in order to do that, we need to find where the function equals 0. So I would write x plus 3 squared minus 10 equals 0. And the first thing I want to do is I want to eliminate my minus 10. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides to eliminate the 10. It cancels on the left. That leaves me x plus 3 squared equals 0 plus 10 is 10. Now, in order to get rid of my exponent, which is what I need to remove next, I need to undo squaring. So the opposite of squaring a side would be taking the square root. So if I take the square root of the left, I need to take the square root of the right. And what happens is the x squared, or the square and the square root eliminate each other. So that leaves me x plus 3 equals, and if I take the square root of 10, I'm going to get approximately 3.2. You have to put that in the calculator and hit the SD button. Now remember, it can be positive 3.2 or it could be negative 3.2. So now in order to eliminate the plus 3, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. It cancels on the left side. So I know x equals 3.2 minus 3, which equals 0.2, which would be my x1 solution. And I know it could also equal -3.2 minus 3, which gives me -6.2, which would be my second solution. So that is solving algebraically in vertex form. The last way that you want to be able to practice today is determine the solutions of the function in standard form by factoring. Now remember, when we factor, we're going to put stuff inside the box and find out what goes outside the box. So I take my first term and it goes in the first box. and I take my last term, and it goes in the last box. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out what numbers multiply to give me x squared and what numbers multiply to give me 10. So the things that multiply to give me x squared is x times x is x squared. And the numbers that multiply to 10, let's say could be 10 times 1 would be 10. And remember, you need to check and make sure you get your middle term when you combine your like terms. So if I fill this second box here, I would multiply 10 times x, that would give me 10x. And to fill the third box here, I would multiply the x times the 1, and that would give me 1x. So when I combine my like terms, I check to make sure, and they do equal 11x when I combine them. So my factors are x plus 10 times x plus 1. And if I want to find my solutions, I got to find out where that equals 0. So I'm going to say x plus 10 equals 0. And then I want to solve it by eliminating the 10. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. It eliminates on the left. So 0 minus 10 is negative 10. So my first solution is negative 10. Then I need to do the same thing with my second factor. And my second factor is x plus 1. So I'm going to write x plus 1 equals 0. And again, I need to eliminate the 1. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. It eliminates on the left. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So my second solution would be negative 1. So my two solutions there are negative 10 and negative 1. Now on the online classroom, you'll have different slides where you'll do examples of each type of finding the solution by inspection, algebraically in intercept form, algebraically in vertex form, and factoring when it's in standard form. So make sure you get that turned in, put it in the folder or email it to me, whichever way, and that's going to be your grade today. See you tomorrow.